120. So I just wanted to know, is that something that you think about, or that kind of changes your perspective going into a fight?
No, I didn't even know about it. I never checked those things. They don't make a difference. And it's good to be the underdog. I love it. It's good.
Well, there you go. And secondly, as a fellow Jewish person, I'm just kind of curious, other than yourself, who would you consider the best Jewish fighter on earth right now?
I don't know. Maybe Aviv Gozali. He's doing a great job. I think Aviv is doing a great job here in Bellator. And we're going to the top.
Donna?
Hey, Neiman. Your fellow countryman is in the main event, Patricio Pitbull. What's your prediction for that fight?
Man, it's going to be a war. Remember the first one was already a war?
Yeah.
And this one is going to be even harder, I think. But I think Patricio will come on top, and he's the champ for a reason, you know?
Living in California, I would imagine that, I mean, you talked a little bit about Michael Venom Page having difficulty over in London. It seems to me like you would have similar difficulties training in California, right? It's pretty much a completely shut down state at the moment.
Yeah, it's everywhere, I think, you know, like some places are worse than others. But I was able to get training in California, so it wasn't that hard, you know. I was in a big camp with a lot of fighters, so we were able to train well for this fight.
Santiago?
Shalom, Neiman. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time.
Shalom, my brother.
After your spectacular performance against John Fitz, you said you wanted the title shot next. Are you a bit disappointed that you didn't get the next shot at Douglas Lima? And do you think after a win on Friday, you will get that next shot?
So I was a little disappointed, yes, but it is what it is, you know. So we gotta, if I have to beat the whole division to get to the belt, I'll do it. And I think so. I think if I win this fight, and if I win in a great way with a good submission, I'll get the title shot.
And last one for me, Neiman. What do you think about the evolution of jiu-jitsu in this modern MMA game? Do you think fighters are using their jiu-jitsu in an effective way?
Yes, I think so. I think these days are much harder for a jiu-jitsu guy to come here and finish everyone, because everybody knows jiu-jitsu now. So I'm fighting against guys that are training jiu-jitsu every day. Some of them are black belts. So it's much harder now.
James?
This is James from Strictly MMA. I just got a couple questions for you. I know after you defeated John Fitch mentioned something about possibly wanting to come out and train with you. You said you moved over to California now. Were you guys able to link up?
No, man, you know, unfortunately not. But this is something I want to do for sure. I feel that I have a lot to learn from him. He has the perfect. If I'm able to get a couple of things from his game and put on my game, I'll be even more dangerous than I already am.
Absolutely. Then my next question was, obviously, you keep saying the goal is the title, right? You want the title fight. You wanted it now, but now you got Jason Jackson. If you beat Jason Jackson and then they put Michael Venom Page in front of you, I know you've said some things about him. Are you willing to take that fight before the title as well?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. If they don't give me the title, if they say one more, I'll take it for sure. Or if they say, oh, the title is just in the end of the year, but we have the Michael Venom Page in June or July, I'll take the fight too. So, yeah, man, I fight everybody. It's my job.
Dylan?
Hey there, Neiman. How's it going?
Good, and you?
I'm doing good, thanks. I was just noticing with your opponent, Jason Jackson, that they have no official losses via submission. Like, they do have a submission loss as part of the Ultimate Fighter Season 21, but that's categorically an exhibition bout. Is there any level of focus in wanting to hand Jason Jackson that first submission loss, or just however the fight unfurls kind of thing, more so?
I want to give a submission loss to everyone I fight. So it doesn't matter if he has a submission loss or not. I fought a couple guys that never had been submitted before, and I was able to submit them. And no, there's not an extra thing to want to finish this fight by submission, because every fight I want to finish by submission. So that's always my goal.
Keith?
Hey, Neiman, it's Keith Chill from Sure Dog. How you doing, man?
Good, brother, and you?
All right. First of all, I apologize for the technical issues. They called on me 3 times now. I was doing a podcast last night, and we were talking about this matchup. And one thing I talked about was, based on your resume, the level of fighters you're facing in 2021, that I actually think that you could go down as the greatest Gracie in MMA. Do you agree with that? And what do you have to do to get that title?
This is one of my goals, actually. Don't tell nobody, but I want to be remembered as the Gracie that has more wins, maybe the Gracie that has more fights. And if I be remembered as the greatest Gracie, it would be great. But this is hard, man. This is a hard thing to achieve because we have so many great guys that come before me. So I don't really want to be known about being the best Gracie ever because this is kind of hard. But I want to be the Gracie that has more wins and more fights for sure.
Sure. Now, you were a student of Renzo Gracie. Gordon Ryan's a student of Renzo Gracie. It was just announced that he's going to transition to MMA. How do you think he's going to do?
He's going to do great. Boy, he's the king. So he's going to do great. He was already training down there. He was already doing a couple of sparring. So he's learning, and I'm sure he's going to do great.
Yeah. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Matthew?
How's it going, Neiman? This is Matthew Putterman from MMA News.
Good, brother.
Hey, my first question for you is, what motivates you more, coming off of a loss or coming off a win? Because you've only got 1 loss in your career so far.
Yeah, I think that loss motivate me a lot. I really wanted to get a win after the loss. So I think that coming off a loss motivate me more. I was training 3 to 4 times a day. My coaches are trying to hold me and tell me not to go train. And I was hungry, and I still am very hungry because now I won the belt. But definitely when I come off a loss, I was with like we say in Brazil, with the knife on my teeth.
And do you think this fight here, over a win over Jason Jackson, propels you to fight for the title next?
Yes, I think so. Jason's a great fighter. He's coming out of great wins. So I think so, especially if I'm able to finish this fight well,
All right. And our last question here comes from the line of Chris Mancuso. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Neiman, thanks so much for taking this, man, and all the best of luck on Friday. When Jason was here with us earlier, he really seemed to think he had a massive advantage when it comes to striking. If you're unable to get this fight to the ground, I think it was mentioned earlier in the couple questions ago, he's never been submitted before. How confident are you, and how much work have you put in throughout this pandemic on your striking to give you that ability?
I've been putting work in striking for years, and I strike with a lot of great guys. So they always think that. They always think they have a big advantage, but once we get there, they see that's not true. Like the Ed Root fight that happened, the Rory McDonald fight that happened, and it will be no different on Friday night.
Thanks, Neiman.
Thank you.
All right, Neiman, thank you very much for the time today, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, we are now being joined by Alejandra Lara. Begin with a few questions from the media. Keith, your line is now live.
Alejandra, hola, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Excellent. Thanks for asking. My first question to you is, you're going against Kana Watanabe. She's really known for her ground game, specifically her judo, her uchimata throws. How do you feel you match up specifically on the ground with her?
Okay, for this fight, I was expecting to fight a hard one. So it's good match because she's undefeated. I feel it's great, and of course I'm preparing myself for her game, and I feel that I still have that factor, like surprise factor, because a lot of people haven't seen yet a lot of things of my game, specifically in my ground game. So I feel I don't play. I don't gonna play her game, but I'm still prepared for whatever she proposed to me.
Are you viewing this as a number one contender matchup?
I don't know. Could be.
Yeah. Well, I asked you that because you faced the current champion. You had an extremely close fight against her. So my question is, what improvements have you made since that matchup so that if you do get a matchup against a champion, that you're going to win?
Yeah, I feel I am a completely different fighter since that fight. And I feel every time I enter in the cage, I'm a better fighter. And right now in my career, I feel I'm in that point that now I feel I really know what I'm doing because in the beginning I wasn't prepared in any aspect. I had that lack of experience that was so important in those first fights. But even with that, I know Bellator saw my potential, and I've been working all of this time and improving every area. So right now I feel very good for every challenge.
My last question for you, and I hate to bring up a bad topic, but the last time you weighed in, you actually missed weight. Is everything going as planned for this time?
Yeah, like the first weightings was a little bit easy for me, so I get too much confidence in the last one, and I didn't make that mistake for this one. I learned the lesson, and right now I am in the better way I've been in for the weight cut.
Gabriel?
Hello, Alejandra. How are you?
Hi, very good. You?
I'm doing good. Alejandra, can you talk a little bit about how your life has changed since doing Exatlon? Because you've obviously always been a very popular fighter through Bellator, but being on a show like that, I have to imagine fans who never watch MMA, now they're big fans of you. What has that been like?
Yeah, being in Exatlon was a big opportunity for me to improve and to grow in my social media. And yeah, that it's one of the biggest show for the Hispanic public in United States, and that people that was following with me in the show right now, it's supporting me in fighting too. So that's awesome. And yeah, I feel you have to take that kind of opportunities, but my mind was always here in my career.
When you take time off like that to do the show, and then you come back to the gym, you come back to the world of MMA and preparing for a fight, what did you miss the most? Like when you got back in the gym, what did you most look forward to doing again on a daily basis?
I missed a little bit in the question. Can you repeat for me, please?
Just when you came back to the gym, what did you like the most doing again to focus on MMA?
Everything. When I train, I realize I love this. Every time I do my sparring, I wrestling or jiu-jitsu or boxing, I love every part of this sport, and that's why I'm doing it.
Max?
Hola Alejandra, soy Max Morales de MMA Pit. Platicamos contigo en la semana y ahora estamos viendo que publicas hace no mucho ese tiempo de que estás en peso, que estás no muy lejos de ese peso y ahora es la semana de pelea y queremos preguntarte físicamente cómo te sientes y también mentalmente, emocionalmente, cómo te sientes ya en la semana de la pelea.
Creo que esta es una de las peleas para las que mejor he estado preparada. Siento que he madurado mucho, no solo mentalmente, sino también físicamente, y es algo que se nota. Creo que mi plan de alimentación ha ayudado mucho y me ha potencializado en todas las áreas. Ahorita, como he dicho, pues sí, estoy en uno de los mejores pesos, pero porque he sido completamente disciplinada, no he fallado con nada en la alimentación y creo que si uno hace las cosas bien, no tiene cómo salir mal.
And in English, so we spoke with you the last weekend, and we saw your post on social media that you are close to making weight. So how are you feeling physically and emotionally in this fight week?
Yeah. Okay, so for this fight, I feel more mature mentally and physically, and I feel like my preparation in every aspect is like more focused, and my body is responding really well. And I feel that when you're disciplined and when you do the right things, nothing can go wrong. And it's how I feel, like not just mentally strong, but physically incredible in the best shape ever.
All right, Donna.
Hi, Alejandra. Jorge Masvidal talked about when he did the show, the reality show that you were on. He had something of a career, I suppose you would, I don't know what you would call it, but he had a feeling when he came back that he was going to change things in his career. Did you have a similar feeling when you came back from doing the show?
Actually, yes. I feel I learned a lot of things about myself in the show, and to be all of that time apart with no phone, with nature, and just like thinking and spending time with other and different new people make you grow as a person. And I feel I changed my way to see the world. I feel a lot of things change in my life, and yeah, I feel right now I'm in a different part of my career.
Did seeing what happened with Masvidal, he went off, he did it, he came back, 2 fights in, he's the biggest star in the UFC. Did seeing what happened with him inspire you to say yes when they asked you to do the show?
Not actually because of him, but I always liked to take that kind of challenges. I'm a big fan of adventures and of that kind of situations that take you out of your comfort zone. So I know that wasn't gonna be an obstacle for me. That just can potential my own skills, and yeah, I feel that just helped me.
Santiago.
Hola, Alejandra. Greetings from Amsterdam and thank you for the time.
Hola.
Is it true that you had your first fight at age 16? And how did you get into fighting at a young age?
My first professional fight was at 17, and I didn't have amateur fights. They just invite me, and I say, okay, of course, why not? And I start, but because I trained sand and kung fu and karate, so I just did okay, let's do this.
Last question for me, Alejandra. Are we going to see another amazing walkout with you dancing to the cage again?
That's something that I just can't avoid. It came naturally for me, and I just listen to the music and go with it. I don't prepare any of that, and yeah, probably.
We'll take a couple more here. James.
Alejandro, this is James from Strictly MMA. Just a couple quick questions for you. I feel you're motivated for every fight, but with your opponent coming in this time with an undefeated record, is there a little sprinkle, a little extra fire underneath you that gets you out of bed a little bit more, knowing that you have a chance to take her all away from her record?
I don't used to think that way because I prefer to focus on me, on what I have to do now, and yeah, it's just about my own work here.
And then, do you have a final prediction for everybody of how you get it done on Friday night?
I know everyone's gonna enjoy my fight as always. I always give my best, and my fans know that.
Ronald.
Ronald Smith from Gator Real. Alejandra, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Just to bounce off, you said that after you left the reality show, you said that changed your mindset and get a bigger mind focus on the future. So for yourself now going to this fight, where do you see this new self of you going forward in this fight?
Not just in this fight, yeah, but in life. I feel ready to face everything that I have in front of me. I'm not afraid of whatever I have to fight for. So it's just that.
Nate.
Hello, Alejandra. I've got one question for you. It was spoken earlier about how many new fans you might have gotten from the telenovela. I just wanted to ask you if you had anything to say to those fans that might be watching. I know you were the first Colombian fighter in Bellator, and anything to say to a young fan watching.
Yeah, I feel very proud to represent my Latino American people, and I feel very loved. I feel the support and the energy they are always sending to me. And thank you very much to all my fans and to all the people who are there sending good vibes. And I'm not gonna disappoint with my fight.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
All right, last one here, Chris.
Hey, Alejandro, just quick question for you here. I know that a lot has been made about the Bellator rankings, and you came in at number 4 in the division, but number 9 in the female pound for pound list. How proud are you of that? I know that's not the end goal, and you're going to say at the end of the day you want to be champion, but from, it's a brand new thing to Bellator. How did that just make you feel seeing your name amongst the top 10 women in the sport?
Yeah, I feel that it's very motivating, but it's not like a final word. That's something that just makes me to feel that I have to show why I'm there, and I have to show that in the cage, and to demonstrate why I'm there, and if it's true or not.
All right, thank you so much for the time, Alejandra, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
We are now being joined by Usman Nurmagomedov. We'll begin with a few questions from the media. Keith Schillen, your line is now live.
Usman, privet kak dela. It's Keith Schillen from Sherdog. My first question to you is, the first time fighting in front of the U.S. fans, what kind of statement are you trying to make?
Усман, привет, как дела? Это твой дебют в США. Что ты можешь сказать? Что с фанатам следует ожидать от твоего дебюта? Как ты заявишь о себе в дебюте?
Приветствую. Все хорошо. Фанатам, даже не знаю, нужно подождать. Пятницу вечером покажу все, на что способен.
Hello, I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here. And to the fans, I don't even know what to say. I just promise it will be a very entertaining fight, and you will see my statement inside the Bellator cage on Friday.
Mike Hamill is your opponent. What do you think about him as your first opponent? How do you feel you match up?
Что ты можешь сказать о своем сопернике? Как он тебе подходит? Удобно для тебя соперник?
Ну, низкий чуть ростом, крепкий парень. А так ничего особенного. Не могу выделить в каких-то аспектах, что он сильнее меня, или в каких-то аспектах, что я слабее, чем он. В пятницу вечером покажу.
Tough guy. I wouldn't say that he have any advantages over me in wrestling or in striking either way. So on Friday night, we will see. The only thing I can say, he's a little shorter than me. It will be a little discomfort for me. Everything will be good for me.
Donna?
Hi, Usman. We've heard that your cousin Khabib will be in the corner. Is there a lot of pressure coming into your first fight in the States? Obviously, with such a huge legacy and a huge name to live up to.
Мы знаем, что Хабиб будет у тебя в углу. Что ты можешь сказать? Это давит на тебя как-то? Ты нервничаешь, или это наоборот тебя мотивирует и придаст больше сил?
Скорее всего, для меня это мотивация, что такой человек у меня в углу. И я думаю, он будет мне подсказывать только правильные вещи, которые я должен буду делать.
Of course, I'm very happy that my older cousin will be in the corner, and such a great fighter will be in my corner, and he also like my head coach right now. So yeah, I'm sure it will be very useful for me, because he will give me very useful tips during the fight.
What is the feeling among the Nurmagomedov family about the way that, of course, your cousin retired after his last fight for a variety of reasons, and his old rival Conor McGregor was well able to maintain his trash talking. What is the feeling in the Nurmagomedov family now that chapter is over about Conor?
Что ты можешь сказать насчет того, что ваша история Нурмагомедовых с Конором закончилась?
Ну, мы поставили жирную точку.
We just finished this. That's all I can say. We're done.
Tony?
Hi, Usman. We all probably thought that Khabib would be the first Nurmagomedov to actually bring an American promotion into Russia. Now that obviously he's hung up the gloves, who do you feel will be next best place to actually potentially open the door to either Bellator or the likes of the UFC into Russia?
Tony, can you repeat that?
Yeah, sorry. I just said we probably all thought that Khabib would be the first Nurmagomedov to actually bring a big US promotion to Russia. Now that he's hung up the gloves, who do you feel from the family will be able to actually open that door potentially?
Yes, of course, Khabib opened the door. Он спрашивает, если Khabib привез UFC в Россию, что ты можешь сказать по этому поводу? И кто думаешь, следующий приведет большой промоушен, американский промоушен в Россию?
Какой-нибудь американский промоушен? Даже не знаю.
Ответь, что ты
Даже если мне выпадет такая честь, то было бы очень круто. Не знаю, я даже не знаю, что говорить.
Of course,
Кто будет
Khabib,
следующим? Но надеюсь, что Ислам будет.
of course, Khabib opened the door for UFC to come to Russia, and I believe it will be for a long time because the next contender after Khabib, I believe it will be our teammate Islam Makhachev. So UFC will be sticking in Russia for, I believe, for a long time. And of course, I will be happy if I will get the opportunity to bring the Bellator to Russia as well.
Gabriel?
Usman, I know you've probably always trained with Khabib, but has he changed since he's now become more of a coach and not just a training partner?
Мы знаем, что ты долгое время тренируешься с Хабибом, но так как он сейчас твой тренер, что-то изменилось в вашей подготовке, или вы так же само тренируетесь вместе? Ничего особенного, он просто еще как главный тренер.
Ничего не изменилось. Он и тогда был мой главный тренер, и сейчас он мой главный тренер, и спарринг-партнер, и учитель. Он, как сказать, то же самое, то, что было, она и сейчас есть. Ничего не изменилось.
He always was my coach. Nothing changed. It's you guys thinking he just became a coach, but he always been a coach in our team. So nothing changed. He's still my sparring partner. He's still my trainer. He's still my coach. We still joke together. We still do everything together as we used to do.
Nate?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to ask you, you've got a great stand-up game, and it's clear that you like the Muay Thai style. And I was curious, what is it that drew you to the stand-up game over the dominant wrestling style that some people may come to have known for the Nurmagomedov name?
Ты отличаешься от своих братьев тем, что ты больше ударник. Что ты можешь сказать по этому поводу? Почему ты больше ударки, чем остальные твои братья в борьбе?
Ну, не знаю, мне просто нравится стойки драться. Вот только поэтому. А так, если бороться, то у меня нет проблем и побороться.
Okay. Honestly, I started with the Muay Thai, and after I started training for wrestling. So, and also I like to strike more than to wrestle. But there is no problem for me to wrestle. You already know that I got the wrestling skills, but I want to also show that Nurmagomedov can also strike.
We'll take a couple more here. Max?
Здравствуй, как дела? Меня зовут Макс, and у тебя будет дебют в Bellator, и ты очень активный боец. Какое у тебя ожидание от дебюта и в этот новый момент в карьере? And in English, you are gonna have your Bellator debut, and you are a very active fighter. What are your expectations in your debut and in this new moment in your career?
У тебя будет...
Да, переведи.
Он говорит, у тебя будет дебют в Беллаторе, и что ты можешь сказать, какое заявление ты поставишь о себе в своем дебюте? Что ты заявишь о себе?
Приветствую. Уже поздоровался, да? Да. Но какое заявление оставлю я о себе? Думаю, такое громкое заявление, сделать заявление громким. А так, все соизволением Всевышнего, иншаллах, заберу победу и уже улечу домой.
Hello. So I would like to put a big statement in my debut. It will be my Bellator debut as well as my US debut. So I will try to make a big statement to fans all over the world. And God willing, I will get the victory and will fly safely home.
Dylan?
Hey there. I had a question in regards to just, this big debut and it being on Showtime. I'm kind of wondering in terms of just MMA skills, what is Usman looking forward to showcasing to maybe a segment of the Bellator audience who's never seen him fight before?
Он говорит, у тебя дебют в Беллаторе и дебют что фанатам Беллатора следует и что ты покажешь фанатам во время боя?
Постараюсь показать красочный бой, чтобы фанаты не зевали. Увести победу с собой на родину.
As I say, I would like to make a big statement in my debut fight. More fans from all over the world, especially in the US, and Bellator fans. And after that, God willing, I will get the victory. And as I said, I would like to go safely home.
Last one here, Simon.
Simon Romero, Behind the Grind. I have two questions questions for you. I just want to know, do you feel that Khabib deserves Coach of the Year?
У меня один вопрос к тебе. Ты думаешь, Хабиб заслужил награду как тренер года?
Ну, спортсменом года он уже становился, думаю, и тренером года тоже было бы неплохо.
He already was the athlete of the year, so yeah, I believe he will get the coach of the year as well because like he cornered for now. He only cornered 2 of our teammates, and 2 of them got the successful victories, and I will be the 3rd. So we'll see. I believe all of our teammates will be.
And this last one I have for you, is there any extra pressure coming into your Bellator debut, being someone people are continually talking about?
Давит на тебя вот это все внимание, то, что у тебя дебют, люди говорят о тебе, о твоем дебюте.
Нет, совершенно нет.
No, absolutely not. I'm confident and no
Совершенно
pressure at
нет.
all.
Я себя чувствую нормально.
I feel very great and I'm excited to be here.
Great. Thank you so much for the time, Usman. Appreciate it, and good luck on Friday.
Удачи.
We are now being joined by Emmanuel Sanchez. Begin with a few questions from the media here. Keith Schillen, your line is now live.
Hey, Emmanuel. It's Keith Schillen from Sherdog. How you doing, man?
Good, my friend. How about you?
Excellent. So my first question I got to ask you is, there's 3 men left in this tournament, but it seems like all the talk about AJ McKee and Pitbull. Do you feel like you're being overlooked?
Yeah, a little bit, but hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. So that's what I'm looking to go out and go do. They'll have that opportunity to see that, but only after I defeat both of them when this Grand Prix is over. But first things first and last things last is I'm taking this whole Grand Prix.
Yeah. Bellator Rankings came out this week. Obviously, Pitbull was #1 in the division, but AJ was actually ranked above you. What's your thoughts on that?
I kind of figured. I knew that was going to happen. I'm fighting what I have ahead of me, the 2 best fighters in the world in this organization, because they have 2 accolades that I don't. One being a champ and who has a win over me and has been the greatest fighter in Bellator history, #1 pound for pound. And then the other, longest win streak, undefeated. And look at what a star he's been in Bellator. So you can't write a better story of me going out, avenging these losses that I had. One, this man who had a win over me in 2018. And the other, I lost the opportunity to take that undefeated record for him in 2016. So a lot of people forget about that we were scheduled to fight many years ago. But now I know I'm on this platform. A lot more is on the line, and I'm grateful for it all.
Yeah, speaking of that, you mentioned that you fought Pitbull. It was a much closer fight than a lot of people remember. What adjustments do you think you have to make this time so that your hand gets raised?
Believing in my greatness. I believe that first time around, it was just obviously showcasing skill, but toughness, heart, will, and I was waiting and just thinking just a little too much. Never hesitate. Go out there, trust in your instincts, and using my spider sense, being the Matrix Matador, and capitalizing on my openings. So when I know I can go out there and get the stoppage, make it happen. If not, do whatever it takes to get my hand raised. Continue to just keep the dog on the leash, or fight him on the inside, fight him on the outside, fight him at my pace, my range, my rhythm. And again, another one down, another one eliminated, and on to the final.
Matthew?
Hey, Emmanuel, this is Matthew Putterman from IMMAnews.com. How you doing, brother?
Great, Matthew Putterman. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. You know, my first question is to you. How does it feel to be the first main event fight on Showtime?
I'm blessed. Grateful to God. It's go time. It's showtime. You can't write a better story at this. Everyone's been waiting so long for Bellator to get started this year. And yeah, first one of the year on the Holy Week on Good Friday, man. So it's going to be a great Friday because he has risen and here we are. I get to turn my dreams into reality.
You know, what's your biggest attribute as a fighter?
Having such a great supportive background for so many people in Rufus-Sport, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and in Illinois, and throughout all over the world. But every fighter's got, their tribe and their people and their supporters, their lovers, their haters, criticizers, people who judge them, etc. But I'm just grateful for everybody who is not counting me out, but counting me in, and knows that I can do this. And they inspire me and motivate me, and I inspire and motivate and encourage them too, I hope. But anyone who always helped believe you got to spread peace and love and Hakuna Matata, man, and believe it in your greatness. Then we're talking about a physical attribute and talking about gas tank. So my energy levels just never stop. And that's how it'll always be. And you can't stop. You can't stop, won't stop.
Max?
Hola, soy Max Morales de MMA Pit. Hola, Emmanuel, ¿cómo estás?
Todo bien, hermano.
mi pregunta es que esa última derrota que tienes es contra Patricio Pitbull y eso fue hace un poquito más de 2 años y 3 victorias después y después de estos 2 años es una revancha que tú tenías en mente y que estabas persiguiendo. ¿Y qué esperas de esta pelea?
Sí, claro, pues espero la victoria, primero gloria a Dios, pero pues estoy muy agradecido que tengo esta oportunidad en esta plataforma, en el Grand Prix, en ese estilo, este torneo que tenemos, y pues estoy listo para vencerlo y al final.
Let me say it in English. So my question was, your last defeat was against Patricio Pitbull, and 2 years after that, and 3 victories later. So that was a fight, rematch that you were pursuing throughout these 2 years. And what are you expecting of this rematch?
Nothing but greatness. It's going to be a great fight. I know he's going to come hard. He's going to want to come and get it. But I know I've learned the bow and arrow's got to be pulled back really far before it can be shot forward. And I'm excited to show him and the world on what he's taught me, because he taught me a very valuable lesson. And praise God, we're coming out with the victory.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Gracias, hermano.
All right, Nate.
Yes, sir. So your path to success in your career was full of hardship. Your Instagram Monday motivation post, which was awesome, by the way. You were sleeping outside the gym, in the Civic Coupe, in the Honda. You're a very motivational guy. I just want to know, how charged up are you to be back here for fight week with another shot at the title?
Very charged up, man. I can go back around that time, all those years ago. That's when I was watching Patricio Pitbull face Pat Curran in a rematch. And that's the still little humble blue-collar baller here trying to make his dreams come true, driving an hour plus to and from the gym every day, sleeping in his car, sleeping in the parking lot, sleeping in the gym floor. And now here we are. That's why I say it's me just turning my dreams into reality. All those third shifters out there, all those dishwashers out there, this one's for you, because that's where I've been at, and that's where I know I've been wanting to be, being on this platform and going out and turning my dreams into reality, knowing that one day all that hard work, all that sacrifice, all that suffering was going to pay off. Like Muhammad Ali said, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. And that's exactly what I'm going to go out and go do.
Thank you, sir. Charged up, like I said. Good luck on Friday.
Of course.
Augusto.
Hey, Emmanuel, do you hear me?
Sí, claro.
Oh, excellent. Emmanuel, obviously you have already faced on 2018, and since then you're in a 3-fight winning streak, facing tough competitors. So I want to ask you, what have you learned and improved during these 2.5 years, and what are we going to see on this Matador Sanchez that's different from the one of the first fight?
Definitely more of the Matrix Matador, and using his spider sense here, trusting and believing in his greatness, never hesitating. And I've upped my strength. I've upped my cardio. Some people think like, wow, how can you get even better cardio? You can. So in every area outside of MMA as well, too, you have to stay sharp mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. As a fighter, it takes a lot to get in there on any level. And I'm looking forward to showing him and the world on what he's taught me and how much I've grown in every which way. And I'm a lot more wiser now because of that loss.
Damon Martin.
Emmanuel, kind of a two-part question. When you look back at that first fight with Pitbull, obviously it's several years ago, but kind of from your perspective, what's the biggest thing you learned about him in that fight? And what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself in that fight?
That I can take his best shots, that I can handle his pressure, his speed, his ferocity, his tenacity. And now I know that I can really overwhelm him with mine. And of course he's grown. Of course he's rewatched our fight and rewatched my old fights recently. And obviously it's like just two lions staring across the watering hole, we knowing that we're going to cross paths again. And I'm sure after this, after I defeat him, I know we will meet again. But first things first is going to go out and show what he taught me in 2018. And I'm a much wiser fighter because of that. I'm a much stronger fighter. Whatever doesn't kill you just makes you stronger and smarter. So I've had to learn from that. As painful as it was and as difficult it was, I was motivated by him. He went out to defeat Michael Chandler, and he became the champ, and he's been dominant and showed nothing but dominance ever since. So I'm excited. I'm fighting the best pound-for-pound fighter, the best champion Bellator's ever had, and I'm looking to go out and be on top.
Last one for me, when you look at Pitbull, since you fought him, he's obviously, as you mentioned, gone on to do some great things, the Chandler win, Juan Archuleta, the things he's done. But do you feel like he's that much different of a fighter than the guy you fought a few years ago?
Yes and no. I'll say yes, because of course he had to evolve and he had to obviously get bigger, get stronger, get more explosive, etc. Everything they needed to do, knowing that he was going to move a weight class up, and who knows what his plans were outside of that, and we had no idea prior to what was going to go on with this Grand Prix. But then when this Grand Prix got started, I feel like his level of opponents, all great fighters, but they didn't really force him to change his game too much in the sense that what I bring to the table. So as great of a fighter he is, and those other great fighters as well too, had the potential to beat him in maybe their ways and their thoughts and their game plans, but they just didn't have the style to beat him. And I know I have the style and the ferocity and the gas tank to get my hand raised over him.
Giancarlo?
Hi, Emmanuel. Hope you're doing well. Just one question for me. In terms of preparation for this fight, do you find it more challenging thinking like, do you overthink things because of the last fight, or do you find it more calming knowing that you've already shared the cage with him?
I find it more calming because I've also been cage side for his last 3 fights, getting that win over Michael Chandler, the win over Juan Archuleta, and recently the win over Pedro Carvalho. So I still see those holes and those gaps, those openings to where I know I can capitalize on and also need to watch out for so he doesn't leave my face a bloody mess. He taught me a very valuable lesson. And I know that me believing in my greatness and me growing and learning, watching him in each of those bouts, and me learning and growing from each of my bouts as well too, leading up to this moment, has what's propelled me and enabled me to evolve me to say that I can say what I'm saying right now. And I'm staying calm all the way through. I know what this man brings to the table. I know I'm fighting the best pound for pound fighter, the best Bellator champion in history. But I do also know that I can defeat him, and I have the potential to defeat him, and I will defeat him. And that's exactly what I'm looking to go out and go do, and turning my dreams into reality and on to the final.
Santiago?
Hola, Emmanuel. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time.
Greetings, my friend. Cheers.
There are some big weeks coming up for Rufus Sport with 3 massive fights in just over 4 weeks. Could you share how the vibes are at the gym and what makes this gym so special according to you?
Man, it's like the Bulls dynasty. That's how I feel. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. We're just going out to kill the game, and every single one of us looking out to be world champions. And it starts with me. I'm excited to start the year off. We go in a few weeks, a little after me. Then we got Sergio Pettis going in fighting for a world title. My other teammate, Anthony Pettis, his brother, is in a World Grand Prix tournament style. Other teammate, Laura Sanchez, is in a World Grand Prix tournament style. And outside of them as well, too, I have my teammate Jordan Neiman fighting on this card with me, like how we started years ago as well, too, when I had my first or second main event bout. And Rafian Stotts fighting the same card as Sergio Pettis on May 7th. So it's the winning season. We had our drought. We had our rough time. Our fights were canceled. The gym was closed down. Wisconsin was just going a ruckus. Everything was craziness, but we never lost hope. We never gave up. We stayed faithful. We stayed hungry, and now here we are. The whole team's ready to eat, and we're ready to leave a big legendary thing going on for the team and each of us as fighters as well too, for our careers and our lives.
That is beautiful. Last one for me, Emmanuel. Your cardio is absolutely spectacular. In your last fight against Daniel Weichel, you weren't even breathing heavy in the 5th round. Is that cardio coming from your Mexican roots? And how much would it mean to you, Emmanuel, if you could show the Mexican people that Bellator MMA belt?
I mean, the best ever, the first Mexican Bellator featherweight champion there's been. You cannot write a better story, especially going into someone who has a victory over him, being on this platform, on this format. I love it. It just makes it that much better and that much sweeter than it was years ago. And I'm so excited to go out and show what Patricio Pitbull has taught me, and the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained from not only that fight, but also me wanting to stop Daniel Weichel. Didn't get the stoppage how I wanted, but I got to showcase a lot of other tools and weapons, and like you said, a nonstop gas tank. So yeah, that comes straight from el corazón, pura raza mexicana, and through the Mexican power, just nonstop. Since I was a kid, I've always seen my parents work 3, 4, 5 jobs. It's a nonstop hustle, and that's all I've ever known. That's all I can do. I can't stop. I won't stop, and I can't be stopped, and I won't be stopped. So I'm just MMA's Energizer Bunny, man. I want to just keep going, and whatever it takes to get my hand raised, whatever it takes to get the stoppage, and to go out and be victorious. That's exactly what I'm going to go out and do this Friday night.
All right, we'll take a couple more here. Dana?
Hi, Emmanuel. You talked about the upcoming schedule for Rufus Sport Fighters. You missed out the boxing match that your teammate Ben Askren is going to be having in a couple of weeks. How could you possibly forget?
Ben's doing his own Rocky style training. I don't know if you've been watching his videos out there, so I'm letting him be Rocky, going out there with his own Mickey and his own peeps out there. I haven't had the opportunity to spar with Ben or work with Ben that much, but our other coaches have. He's also been going to Freddie Roach's gym and other big gyms, and he's getting the work that he needs for himself to make this happen. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait for him to go out there and prove to the world that even him as an MMA fighter who wasn't that great or that dominant with his striking skill can still go out and shut up this big mouth over here who thinks he has striking skill over an MMA fighter.
Talk to me a bit about your faith. You mentioned before that you were sleeping in your car. You were really struggling on your way to get to this point to be fighting for the World Championship. At any point, did your faith wane? Did you think, God, what are you doing here? Talk to me a bit about that and how you kept, how you maintained your faith through all of that.
That's a great question. I almost want to tear up now thinking about it, man, because it takes me back to those days where I do remember working 11 hours straight and then needing to go to the gym and just having a 5-shot Americano and just taking a quick 5-minute nap before I needed to drive to the gym and get ready for, the next fight, or just training, even without a fight on the line, just knowing that I couldn't miss out on training because I want to get to this level. I wanted to be where I'm at. No sacrifice, no victory. And throughout that whole time, I said, God, please just give me strength. That's all I pray for. And I just pray that I don't fall asleep on the road and have a car accident or anything like that. And he is faithful. He is worthy. And I give all the glory and honor to God because he has kept me safe throughout this whole time. MMA is such a dangerous sport, but on top of that, needing to make the ability to make it happen through training, through trying to get sponsorships, through trying to get fights, through just keeping your health, through trying to balance your job on top of pursuing the dream of being a professional MMA fighter and being a world champion. I just never lost hope. I just never gave up. And I just prayed every single second that I had with any little injury or going broke or sleeping in my car, sleeping on an air mattress or whatever it was that I was going through. I just knew I was like, it's trying to teach me something. He is trying to teach me something. And no matter what, I know the risk, the pain, it will be worth it in the end. And I'm here on this platform now being able to share that with you and everyone in this room and everyone in the world watching, that with God, all things are possible, and just never give up. Believe in your greatness, and with God, all things are possible, man. Just trust.
Steven?
How many shots of espresso are in your Americano these days?
I gotta tone it down, man. This is why. This is for all the haters out there. People think Bellator fighters, oh man, everyone's out there all roided up. The only thing you'll find in me is Mexican steroids, beans and rice. And the only things I go overboard with is, coffee and sugar. But I got to limit that too, because unfortunately I have diabetes that runs in my family. And 2 drugs that I know for sure, caffeine and sugar, that I got to watch out. But no, not too many shots, just a plain dark roast with a little bit of, raw sugar or some hazelnut, some good roast. Starbucks, man, it always just whatever, or Mexican style cafe de olla. I don't hate. I'm excited to try all kinds of coffees. Fighting in Israel, the first time I lost to Patricio, they had some great coffee while I was out there too. And every now and then I'll enjoy myself a Celsius or a nice energy drink, a Zevia energy drink. I hope Zevia gets this and hooks me up with the endorsement like they do Mighty Mouse or Nate Diaz. But I've been trying Zevia. They're the best. They're saviors from right there. Or green tea, ginseng and green tea. But I got to tone it down. I'm naturally energized right now. I don't know if you can tell. I'm cutting weight. I only have a few more pounds to go, but I still can just be nonstop right here and talk your ear off for days. But I'm ready to fight now, man. But I'm excited. But this morning, I did add 1 shot of espresso just to help the weight go down.
Okay. So I wanted to expand a little bit on something that you were talking about earlier about Askren. Can you remember a time, a specific time in which you were striking with him or working on striking? And in which you kind of underestimated his abilities, or maybe he surprised you in some way or did something that maybe you wouldn't have expected him to do?
I never underestimated him. I never underestimated anybody ever, no matter who they're from, or I have visitors and, come from out of state, out of town, out of the country, who have come into my beautiful Rufus Sport MMA Academy. There was one time I had 5 different English accents: Australian, Irish, German, or not German, but New Zealand. I had so many different guys that were in there at the time. But the first time I remember sparring with Ben Askren, he threw a spinning back fist at me. And I was like, what the? I thought for sure, I'm like, okay, I'm just getting ready for Ben to try to, move around with me, but try to take me down. Because I'm way smaller than he is. But he threw a spinning back fist at me and was striking a little more than I expected. A lot of times you think you're going to go with someone who's predominantly a wrestler or just wants to grapple you. They're probably just going to try to walk at you or grab a hold of you to just lock horns with you and take you down. But yeah, I was pretty surprised Ben Askren was throwing spinning back fists at me and other jumping kick attacks. And I wanted to show him that I didn't, he has my respect and he was my coach at the time, but I didn't care. I tried to take him down and he threw me like on my head like I was a little kid. But that was all good. I went and showed that it was MMA training. And no matter what or who it is that I'm moving around with, over all these years, who I'm striking with, who I'm grappling with, MMA, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever it may be, I'm always looking to obviously dominate and get, I don't want to say the better of the round, but you get what I'm saying. Like, show where my skill is at and learn and grow from that as well, too. And you have to, otherwise you're not going to get better.
Did you watch the press conference between them?
I did, and I think that guy's a punk. I think we should not make stupid people famous. I don't even know why he's considered famous. I don't know who he is unless other people have told me. But I think people have that title or that label of famous misconstrued. Someone famous to me would be like Dr. Martin Luther King. Here, Cesar Chavez, Rosa Parks. People have done great things. The great Muhammad Ali. People have done great things in many different aspects in their lives. And what do we have here? From what I know, just a YouTuber who's boxed a basketball player and another YouTuber. And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. You got funny videos on YouTube and you make money off of it, or Instagram too, or whatever. God bless you. If you can do that and make a lot of money or have a lot of notoriety and endorsements and get all that, I'm happy for you. But I don't think that he is anyone to be idolized or praised. Nor with Ben Askren, so I don't feel that way towards anyone. But Ben, I feel, should have a little more respect for what he's done and for who he's needed to face and what he's needed to go through in order to be in the position to where he is now, being able to not only get paid for this and being on this platform that he's on, but that guy just seems a little bit like a punk to me. And Ben is a true competitor and a true fighter. People are counting Ben out. I don't know why, but Ben's a true fighter. Whether it be boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, grappling, if it's a spitting contest, whatever it would be, Ben would show up and show you what's up. So that's what a fighter does.
Last question here, Tony.
Emmanuel, hope you're well. You got to avenge a loss in your last fight. How much did you learn from going into that fight as a rematch that you're going to be bringing into this fight on Friday?
Obviously, his strengths, his speed, his stamina, his endurance, his everything, and my own. That was my first 5-round fight. That was my first international fight. A lot was riding and going into that. I had a lot of, I feel like maybe almost put too much pressure on myself being out there the first time flying that far across the world to be able to fight and fighting such a great champion and such a dominant fighter who's shown nothing but greatness throughout his Bellator career. And now I know I believe in my greatness. I showed my potential. I showed what I could do, but now it's time to really fully unleash and let it all out in there to do whatever it takes to get the stoppage or 5 rounds of making sure that complete dominance, that I get my hand raised.
All right, Manny, thanks for the time today and good luck on Friday.
Peace and love and Hakuna Matata. All you guys. Thank you. God bless.
All right, we are now being joined by Patricio Pitbull. Keith Schillen, your line is now live.
Hey, Pitbull, it's Keith Chilton, Sure Dog. How you doing, man?
Estou bem, e você?
I'm good. How about you?
Excellent. Thanks for asking. I want to bring up a couple of weeks ago, you got into it with the owner of Tapology based on the rankings. You were really low on the rankings. What do you think you have to do to get more respect in the rankings?
Eu não estava com raiva, eu estava só comentando a numeração no ranking. Na verdade, eu só falei a minha opinião. Eu acho que é uma grande merda, não faz sentido algum. Todo mundo tem agora o Michael Chandler acima de mim e ele foi nocauteado em pouco tempo. Então, para mim, ranking é bullshit grande.
For me, those rankings are number one bullshit. I wasn't actually really angry. I was just giving my opinion that it's kind of bullshit that you guys got Michael Chandler fighting for the UFC title yet. Just a few months ago, I knocked him out in under a minute. And I mean, if the second winningest fighter in Bellator is going over to the UFC and fighting for a title, how are you going to have? It's absurd to have him, the person who knocked him out, ranked at 21.
O que mudou agora? Ele só tem uma luta no UFC. O que mudou?
What changed? What changed? There was only one fight in the UFC against a city kickboxer. What changed to make him to make such a big difference or separation between himself and him and Chandler?
Yeah, to build off that Chandler that you just mentioned, if he wins the title, what do you think that says for not only you, but the entire Bellator roster, is that he's a longtime Bellator guy that would now be the champion in another organization?
Se ele ganha, o que isso significa? Se ele ganha o título do UFC, porque ele...
Significa que o UFC vai ter que engolir que ele tem um lutador inferior ao campeão do Bellator, da categoria de baixo.
It means that the UFC is going to have to suck it up, that they got the second best lightweight in the world, who lost to a guy that was coming up from a smaller weight class. They're going to have to realize that the pound-for-pound best fighter is not in the UFC. He's in Bellator. And his name is Patricio Pitbull.
Harry, go ahead.
Hey, Patricio. Harry Mack from the Bookie's Basement. So I just wanted to ask you, you've been the betting favorite for 4 straight fights in Vegas, going back to the Michael Chandler fight was the last time that you were an underdog, actually. So I just wanted to ask, is that something that you just kind of get used to, or is being expected to come out on top every time something that kind of adds a little more pressure to your fights?
Você sempre era o favorito nos últimos 4 lutas. Você está acostumado com isso?
Não preste atenção nisso, não ligue para isso. Presta no meu adversário, isso para mim de favorito e zebra não atrai minha atenção.
Yeah, I don't even pay attention to that. I just to pay attention to who is in front of me and the strategies and tactics I need to execute to beat them.
James, go ahead.
Hey guys, this is James here from Strictly MMA. Just one question for you. Emmanuel was in here earlier. He was on he's on a 3-fight win streak now since the last time you guys met in the cage. He says he feels he's grown as a fighter. He's made the adjustments. He's changed up his game. From what you guys have seen, do you feel you're going to be dealing with a whole different kind of an Emmanuel come Friday night?
Falou que Emmanuel falou que ele mudou muito. Você acha que ele é o mesmo ou você vai enfrentar cara novo, diferente?
Não subestimo ele, sei que ele pode trazer uma guerra. Ele é muito dinâmico, traz uma pressão muito forte. Uma das lutas mais duras que eu tive, mas ele não evoluiu tecnicamente. Ele pode ter ficado mais forte mentalmente, mas tecnicamente ele é o mesmo lutador.
I haven't underestimated him. Emmanuel Sanchez has given me one of the toughest fights. He's very dynamic. He brings a lot of pressure. He probably has gotten better mentally, but technically he's still the same fighter. But the results will also still be the same, and this time I plan to finish him.
Augusto?
Hey, Patricio. Hey, Eric. How are you?
Good, my friend. How about you?
I want to ask you 2 questions, Patricio. First one, well, you have already said that you will finish him, and on your first bout you were close, but you couldn't. So what do you think was missing that time and what have you been working to make it happen this time? And my second question is, I want to know if you are going to be watching Michael Chandler's fight on May the 15th, or you don't care. Thank you.
Porque você não nocauteia, quase nocauteou, mas não consegui nocautear. A última luta, porque você mudou para conseguir nocautear.
Paciência.
He's more patience. Patience is his answer. And se você vai assistir a luta de Michael Chandler.
Claro, ele é meu representante número 1 no UFC. Claro que eu vou assistir.
Yes, he's the number 1 representative of the. Yes, of course I'm gonna represent. Yes, of course I'm gonna watch the fight. Michael Chandler is the number 1 representative of Patricio Pitbull right now.
Damon, go ahead.
Hey, Eric and Patricio. Let me start with this one. I know your focus is Emmanuel Sanchez, but I do want to get your thoughts on AJ McKee in the finals. And where do these these 2 wins potentially put you in terms of your career? You've already accomplished a lot, but what would it mean to beat Emmanuel and AJ in back-to-back fights?
O que vai significar se você bate Emmanuel Sanchez e invicto AJ McKee consecutivo ganhar o título?
Comprovar que todo mundo já sabe, eu sou o número 1.
It's going to prove what everybody already knows, that I'm number 1.
And last one, we've seen Bellator has added a lot of talent to the roster lately, especially with the light heavyweight Grand Prix. Is there any part of you that hopes that Bellator starts pursuing more, free agent featherweights and lightweights to challenge you to kind of bring some new talent into the divisions as you are the double champ?
O Bellator está destinando muitas pessoas. Olha o torneio de meio pesados. Você está querendo que Bellator leva mais caras talentos nas suas categorias?
Eu já batei 4 ou 5 gerações do peso pena e arranquei a cabeça do melhor peso leve de todos da história do Bellator, e não me importa quantos mais caras eles vão adicionar, vou bater em todos.
I've already beaten 4 to 5 generations of Bellator's best fighters. I went up a weight class and took off the head of the greatest lightweight in history. Really doesn't matter who they bring in. I'll beat them all.
Jim, go ahead.
Hey, Jim Barcelona, Miami Herald, a coach and Pitbull. Just curious, what does Pitbull think of the format of the Grand Prix, and how exciting is it to have this type of situation tournament in Bellator?
O que você acha de torneio que você está dentro do Grand Prix e fala sobre como você gosta do torneio?
A prova de fogo, né? Eu sou campeão, poderia ter escolhido ficar de fora e enfrentar apenas o desafiante, mas eu coloquei minha cabeça botei meu cinturão em jogo em todas as lutas que eu estou entrando, né? Todo mundo que aceita fazer isso. Sou movido a desafio, acho que foi o mais interessante para mim foi isso, é muito bom. Poder estar numa posição de privilégio e mesmo assim me colocar em uma situação de perigo.
The tournaments, you get to be, these guys get baptized by fire. It's you get the true representative of the weight class when they become champion. I've won a couple of these tournaments, and hopefully now.
Eu podia ter ficado de fora e entrei então.
Oh yes, and I was in a privileged position as the world champion, but I put myself in danger, and I put myself into the tournament. I'm the only person in this tournament that has prepared for 5 rounds for every fight, every single fight. And I chose that to be put in that position.
And lastly, Coach Eric, and obviously with weight and all, that's always a thing with fighters and everything. But if there was anybody that could hold 3 belts, is Pitbull the one?
Well, I've considered Pitbull to being the pound for pound the best fighter on the planet, most complete, black belt in striking, black belt in wrestling, black belt on the ground. He's proven by taking off Michael Chandler, he took off his head in a minute. So, I mean, I think what's the last part of your question, Jim? Hello? Did I miss him? What was the last part of his
Jim,
question?
can you repeat that last part?
Okay, here we go. It was unmuted. I was muted. Yeah, just the part that if there was anyone out there that could hold 3 belts, Pitbull could be the one.
Right. So from pound to pound, I mean, at 145 and 155, all it would take would be really the diet, because he's the only one that's beaten Juan Archuleta, if I'm not mistaken, at least in Bellator. And Juan Archuleta is the champ at 135, and he dominated him at 145. And to tell you the truth, if you put Juan Archuleta next to Patricio, he's bigger than him. So Juan Archuleta is bigger than Patricio Pitbull. So you know this, Jim. Jim, you know this, Jim Barcelona. I've known you since high school. You know I'm into winning titles, triple titles, 3 championships. If anybody can do it, trust me, it's Patricio Pitbull.
Yes, thank you, Eric.
Put up the 2 champs, triple champs against anybody.
All right, Max.
Hi, I'm Max Morales from MMA Pit. Hi, Eric. Hi, Patricio. So almost 5 years as undefeated. Now you're the champ. Fighters come up with different game plans to go against you. So how have been this run for you, and how different do you expect this part 2 with Emmanuel would go?
Você era campeão por 5 anos já. Como isso você esperava isso, que quando no início da sua carreira que você vai durar como campeão para tão longo, e como vai ser diferente essa luta?
Sim, eu programei minha vida para isso. E dessa vez eu vou terminar a luta.
Yeah, I trained my whole life for this. I programmed myself to put myself in this position. And this time against Emmanuel Sanchez, I'm going to finish the fight.
And the second question, you've been very vocal about your victory against Michael Chandler. So what do you have to say about the now challenger for that belt?
O que você tem que falar sobre o Chandler, que está lutando pelo título mundial no UFC?
Ele vai lá, vai ser campeão do UFC e vai ser meu representante número 1. Vai mostrar a minha força.
He's gonna go into that fight, become the UFC world champion, become Patricio Pitbull's #1 representative, showing his strength.
All right, guys. Thanks for the time. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
Where was